Today, we're taking a close look at the CosmoGrill Outdoor XL Smoker Barbecue. But is it really worth the hype? After reading through hundreds of reviews and going through the assembly process myself, I'm here to give you the real story. If you're in the market for a more budget-friendly barbecue, don't worry, I've got some great alternative options linked in the description below. Let's start with the assembly. Honestly, it wasn't as straightforward as hoped. The grill arrives flat-packed, and it comes with over 50 separate parts. Right from the start, I could tell it was going to be a bit of a mission. I wasn't the only one who felt that way either. A lot of users mentioned they found it frustrating too. For starters, some of the screws looked a bit rusty and even had a slightly pre-used look to them, which was definitely off-putting. Then there's the manual. It's not the most intuitive. You'll find yourself backtracking through steps just to figure out how everything fits together properly. What's more, the whole process took me about 2 to 3 hours, which is significantly longer than the advertised 50 minutes. Here's a little tip that might save you some hassle. Assemble the grill a few days before you actually plan to use it. It's best to keep all the screws a bit loose until the end. That way, you can make adjustments more easily when aligning the parts. Trust me, it'll save you a lot of frustration. Once you finally get it put together, the design is actually pretty impressive. The grill itself feels sturdy and has this heavy-duty metal frame that gives it a solid presence. One feature I really appreciated was the adjustable charcoal tray. It lets you raise or lower the heat depending on what you're cooking, which is super handy. The cooking space is generous too. You can comfortably fit enough food to feed about 6 to 8 people, which makes it a great choice for family gatherings or backyard barbecues. I also like the little touches, like the side shelves for holding your tools and the built-in bottle opener. Small additions that just make grilling a bit more enjoyable. However, it's not all perfect. One thing reviewers noticed right away was that the lid doesn't quite seal properly, and that means some smoke tends to leak out. Some users have fixed this by adding a fire rope seal, so that might be worth considering. Another drawback is the lack of a handle. Even though it has wheels, moving it around can still be a bit of a hassle. And if you're planning to crank up the heat, be prepared for some paint peeling off after a few uses, which is mentioned in several reviews. When it comes to performance though, users do give it some credit. The grill heats up pretty quickly and the charcoal burns efficiently, which means you can start cooking sooner rather than later. It's quite versatile too. You can grill, smoke, or use indirect cooking methods without much fuss. One feature that really stood out to users was the easy cleanup. The ashtray is removable and the grates are dishwasher safe, which makes tidying up after a big cookout a lot less daunting. That said, it's not completely without flaws. The temperature control can be a bit tricky because of those lid gaps, which makes smoking meat a bit of a guessing game. Also, the coal tray itself is on the smaller side. If you fill it up too much, charcoal can spill over the edges. Another minor annoyance is the grease dripping issue. The fat doesn't always hit the ashtray, so users recommend lining it with foil beforehand. Now, durability is where the grill starts to lose some points. After just a few uses, users noticed some rust forming on the charcoal tray and legs, which was disappointing. And several long-term users reported similar issues. Another thing to be aware of is that the paint doesn't hold up too well under high heat. Even with a cover, some parts started blistering after a few hot grilling sessions. A few users even mentioned warped panels straight out of the box, so definitely inspect everything as soon as it arrives.